Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome into another episode of From the Bench to the Mic. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, I just want to say thank you for tuning in with me on episode 4 of the pod. We had some great matchups throughout this week, especially on Tuesday. There's some great matchups coming up this weekend that I want to talk to y'all about. But just a few things that I wanted to cover with y'all. Is Purdue the best team in the country? Can anybody in the Big Ten give them a run for their money? BYU, little scary, still comfortable win, but little scary. And then Michigan walking out, just barely surviving. And Louisville just completely owning the state of Kentucky. So all of that, and then we're going to wrap up with some buy or sell. I'm going to go with 3 teams that in the top 25. Going to talk to y'all about if I'm buying or if I'm selling my stock on these guys. So yeah, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to recap Tuesday, talk through future matchups this weekend. There's 2 big ones that I want to really touch on. And then we'll go into buy or sell to wrap things up, and then we'll get on to the weekend, baby. Yes, sir. Let's dive right on into it, okay? First matchup that I witnessed on Tuesday. Got home from work, got all cozied up, man. It was great just being able to sit down and watch hoops. Just turned all the lights off and tuned in, man. So it was Michigan versus Wake Forest. And I saw when I first tuned in, I'm like, all right, I don't know much about Wake Forest. Be interesting. I want to learn more about them as the season goes on. But Michigan, obviously super familiar with Morez Johnson, Elliot Cadeau, Yaxel Landenberg. They've got some dudes over there, and I thought Michigan run away with this. Played in Detroit, Little Caesars Arena, home of the Pistons. That's my guy Cade Cunningham. My fantasy basketball built around him. So I thought Michigan was going to run away with that. The more I just kept watching, I'm like, man, Wake Forest is really hanging around. Wake Forest just kept going on little runs. Just had true dogs, some true fights in them. They moved the ball super well. They got after Michigan on defense. They mixed it up. It was really fun to see. Now, can they compete in the ACC? No, I don't think that's on the table. I think Louisville and Duke are tier 1, and then you got Carolina is probably in a tier by itself at tier 2. Trying to think. I mean, no, I don't think that they're going to be able to compete, but they showed a lot of fight against a top 10 opponent. I mean, could be potentially top 5 after the weekend's over, but I was a little disappointed in Michigan. Elliot Cadeau, he was flirting with a little bit of a close to a triple-double. He played okay. He got completely baptized by one of the Wake Forest folks in transition. That was a tough look. Saw that, and I think my downstairs neighbors are a little upset with me from stomping. But that'd be for another time to apologize for. But anyways, Morez Johnson, in my opinion, in that game, he was the X factor. Going in from like the second part of the second half, I always like to call that the fourth quarter. He was flying around the court, getting after people on defense. Offensively, just was crashing the glass, mixing it up, moving the ball. It wasn't turning the ball over. I'm a huge advocate for this kid. I think he's got an NBA body already. I think he still needs some work, being able to space the floor a little bit. He runs extremely well. He's like a gazelle. He when he gets the ball down low, he loves to go hard into the hoop. So I'm a huge advocate for this guy. But he had 10 points, 8 boards. So you're probably thinking to yourself, man, this guy, why is he referencing this kid as the X factor? If you're watching the game, he made a ton of plays that just didn't show up on the box score. And I think that gets lost in today's day and age with all the flashy plays, all of the social media behind it, the cameras, the attention. A lot of those plays go unnoticed, and kids today, I hope that they see that. If they can watch Morez Johnson and understand like why he's on the floor all the time and why he was able to transfer from Illinois to a team like Michigan, it's for what he does that doesn't show up necessarily in the box score. His help side defense, him being able to swing the ball, him just crashing the glass, even though he may not get the rebound, he's still mixing it up, getting a body in there. Those different types of plays, those make all the difference in the world when it comes to winning and losing. So Morez Johnson, in my opinion, was the X factor. I'm going to talk about Ade Mara. Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to Ann Arbor. The UCLA transfer completely stuffed the stat sheet. But anyway, I'm going to talk about him in just a second. But Morez Johnson, he was the X factor in there. Great work by him. I love the kid. I'm going to continue to cover him as we go throughout this season. But without him, Michigan doesn't win that ball game. So, and let alone they probably don't go to overtime. They probably lose that in regulation. They probably lose by 2 or 3 possessions, in my opinion. But that's very hypothetical. Star of the show, though, Ade Mara. Just 7-footer from UCLA, transfers into Michigan. I don't know much about him. I don't know how much he contributed to the UCLA team from last year. But this stat line's wild. 18 points, 13 boards, 6 dimes, and 5 blocks. I mean, complete stat sheet stuffer. Triple S, baby. Stat sheet stuffers. We love those. Guys that are impacting the game all through across the board, not just in one category. Even though I do love me some Cam Thomas, 40 ball, no assist. I love that occasionally. But stat sheet stuffers, we're all for them. And this guy, he came onto the scene out of nowhere. Yaxel Landenberger was a complete no-show. So it was great to see another big man step up in his place because you couldn't have him in there in crunch time. But Ade Mara, I don't know how we didn't hear about him last year, transferring within the conference. Yeah, nobody really thought that would be that big of that he'd be that big of an impact. But Morez Johnson was the X factor. Ade Mara won him the game, in my opinion. He contested the potential game winning floater from Wake Forest. He was all up in the grill, and I think he might have ended up coming up with the rebound. But nonetheless, mixing it up all over the board. I was very impressed with his play. His footwork was great down low. He got great touch around the rim, able to see the floor. I mean, Jokic-esque, soft-esque, but again, great work from Ade. So maybe he'll keep that going. That would be phenomenal. I think Michigan needs a little depth right there. So him being in the rotation at big man is going to be great for him. I mean, I think he started last night. He started on Tuesday. He continues to start. We'll yet to be seen, but we'll yet to see. But I loved Ade Mara and what he was able to bring to the table. Because again, Yaxel, potential Big Ten Player of the Year, first team All Big Ten, first team All American type of player, was a complete no-show. And I get it. Everybody has their down games, of course. I need to get him out now. Carter Knox had it for Arkansas against Michigan State. Cam Boozer didn't really play great against Army on Tuesday night. But when your team's in a close game like that, I mean, I'm not saying it's okay to have down games, but you've got to be able to contribute in some fashion. 4 of 12 from the field, 9 points, 5 boards. Didn't really impact the game defensively. He didn't have hardly any assists. He wasn't getting his teammates involved. Overall just wasn't a great game. He didn't play a ton. It was one of those things where he was a complete non-factor. And you hate seeing that from a guy like that, but it was disappointing to see. I was disappointed in him. It was the first time I had gotten to see him live. I've seen highlights and all the hype and things like that, but he was just very unimpressive. He ended up with 3 turnovers, 2 assists, stealing a block. He didn't have any fouls. That's the thing. I thought he was in foul trouble. I thought I was missing something. Wasn't in foul trouble, and he still played 33 minutes, and he just didn't impact the game whatsoever. So, they have bad games. I'm gonna still be on the Yaxel train for an All Big Ten selection. I think he's got that type of talent after seeing his highlights and talking with some folks. But it was disappointing to see. So Michigan, great win. I mean, Wake Forest, we'll see what they end up actually being, but 85-84 in overtime. That was a win's a win. You love to see that. So, yeah. All right, next game I was able to tune into, Illinois versus Texas Tech. This was my game of the night. I know we had Kentucky-Louisville going on ESPN. I actually didn't even watch that game because I'm still boycotting still boycotting ESPN. I wanted to get back on YouTube TV so I can get that subscription going again. But this game was awesome. I knew it was going to be great. Such a very high-paced, great atmosphere, up-tempo, NBA style of basketball. It was a lot of fun. But the storyline of the night for Illinois was Andrei Stojakovic. Guy was cooking. He was all over the place offensively, defensively. He had the game-sealing block. He was able to control the game with his pace. When he had the ball in his hands, there was just when he has the ball in his hands, there's just like a sense of calmness. It's he has it. Everybody kind of just gets still and understands that it's going to be okay. You love to see that out of your guard, especially a guy that transfers in from Cal. Cal wasn't great last year, don't get me wrong, but it was great to see Stojakovic out there and really doing his thing. I mean, the dude was he was lights out in my opinion. I know he shot the ball super well. I'm getting his stats pulled up right now. I didn't write those down, unfortunately, but yeah. I mean, you come off the bench and play 26 minutes, 11 of 16 from the field, took 1 3. He's not a big 3-point guy, which is okay for right now, but eventually you want to expand that range to, if you want to get into the NBA, got to be able to shoot the 3 ball as a point guard. He had 3 boards. He only had 1 assist, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. That's a solid stat line in my opinion when you come out with a win. Now, if on the other side of that, I'm probably saying didn't do enough, but he had Kylan Boswell as his running mate. Kylan Boswell, 22 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 9 of 12 from the free throw line, 3 assists, 2 boards. Kylan Boswell was lights out in the first half. He had Illinois' first 9, hit 3 threes. He was actually 3 of 5 from the game, so he didn't do much after that from the 3-point line. But Kylan Boswell he can impact the game just from watching him over the years. He impacts the game, again, same way as Morez Johnson without the stats showing up in the box score. So him and Stojakovic are going to be a great 1-2 punch. I love Keaton Wagler, the freshman. That dude is a stud. He's real raw, and you can tell he needs to put on probably a little more weight. It's tough to do during the season, but no, he wants to probably put on some more weight to compete with some of these Big Ten guys. But I was very impressed with him. Big Z transferred from Arkansas. He looked phenomenal. He looks like he's put on about 50 pounds. He was bringing the ball up the court, just doing all his different finesse and bumping into guys, getting the touch off the glass, blocking shots. I mean, the dude had 3 blocks, which was, and his 3 blocks were just like, his 3 blocks were just emphatic. They made you feel him. I'll pause, but you had his presence in there when he was swatting your shot. So Big Z, he looks much improved. He's put on some muscle. But the big thing with Illinois is, I think this is a great matchup for Purdue. I think Illinois is the one team in the Big Ten that can give Purdue a run for their money. I think the second team is probably Michigan State, but I think Illinois is the one team that can really give Purdue some problems. Kylan Boswell and Braden Smith is a great matchup. I love Fletcher Lawyer against either Stojakovic, Hummerkaus, the Wagler combination. I love that. Trey Kaufman-Renn against Jake Davis he actually had zeros all the way across the board outside of a rebound. But Jake Davis last year, he was able to make an impact in a few games. I know he's got it in him. He obviously didn't do anything against Tech, but I think he could be a guy that can give Trey Kaufman-Renn some problems. Mirkovic is young. He's going to be real solid. He can be another guy that matches up with Kaufman-Renn. I love the matchup for Illinois. I love that. I think that's our Big Ten championship, in my opinion. But I think both these teams can go to the Final Four, Texas Tech and Illinois, and Purdue. But Texas Tech, you're really not in this game unless JT Toppin has his All-American performance like he did the other night. 35-piece, 17 of 25. He had 11 boards. He did have 6 turnovers, which wasn't great. But JT Toppin looked like an All-American. Kind of expected at this point. This dude last year really turned it on. I think without Darian Williams here, JT Toppin can take that next step. I talked about that at the beginning of this season, my first episode. I think he really needs to take that next step up, and he did on a top 15 matchup on the road. You show up and you have 35, you have 11 boards, you get 3 blocks, you get 3 steals and 3 dimes. You can't ask for much more out of JT Toppin. He shows up and does his thing. He looked like an absolute beast. He scored. He had 10 to 12 points in a row in the second half. Just went on an absolute burner. Illinois didn't have an answer for him. So that was, and JT Toppin knew it. He just said he kept telling his guys, dude, give me the ball, get out of my way, and let me ride. Christian Anderson had 11 dimes. I'd be curious to know how many that was to Toppin. It's just, give me the ball. I know none of these dudes are stopping me. And that's the mentality that JT Toppin needs to have for Texas Tech to be able to get to a national championship. And yes, I said national championship because I think that they got that kind of caliber. McClaslin is an awesome coach. I love him. And I think they have a great roster to do it. The Big 12 is going to be super difficult, but it's going to prep them up for that tournament, man. And I'm excited for Texas Tech. I think that was a great challenge going on the road in Champaign, where Orange Crush was just popping off. Place looked electric. And Illinois played a great game. They did. It was a great matchup. It was fun to watch. I think this could be a potential Elite Eight matchup when we get to March. So overall, impressed with both teams. Illinois pulling out with the win, probably just because they're at home. But again, Stojakovic was the star of the show. All right, third matchup I got to tune into was Delaware and BYU. BYU ended up 85-68, but let me just tell you, I was really worried about BYU for all of the first half, and then first probably 8 minutes of the second half. They were down 37-34 at half. I was like, what in the world is going on? But BYU just, they couldn't hit shots. But more importantly, they couldn't get stops. Delaware shot the lights out in the first half. I mean, overall, they were 11 of 24 from 3, 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 25 of 58 overall. They were scary for a second there, man. They had 4 guys in double figures, which you just don't see from an inferior opponent going up against a power 4. But BYU, their defense gets me a little worried. I think that BYU can score with anybody in the country. They scored 51 in the second half. I think they can totally do it. They have all of the offensive firepower in the world. You got Kennard Davis, Carbondale transfer, Richie Saunders, stud. He had 26. Rob Wright almost had a triple-double. And then you got probably the number 1 pick in the draft coming up, AJ DeBanza. They can score with anybody. But, yeah, I was a little worried about BYU against Delaware. I hope that their defense doesn't come back to get them. I don't think that they are Alabama when it comes to offensively elite status. But I think BYU is right there at that second tier of top 10 offenses in the country. I don't think that their offense is going to be able to outweigh. I don't think their offense is going to be able to outweigh how poorly they played defensively in the first half against Delaware. I don't think that outweighs if they played like that throughout an entire game. But prove me wrong. That'd be great. Richie Saunders, Rob Wright, both with 26. Rob Wright had 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 turnovers, nothing crazy. Richie Saunders had 26 and 10. DeBanza had 18 and 7. Didn't shoot the ball great. I mean, one of 4 from 3. I mean, overall, BYU took care of business in the second half. They finally started hitting shots, and blink of an eye, it was a double-digit ball game. Then it turned to 15. Then it turned to 20, and it just complete snowballed after Delaware couldn't keep up. But this was a classic 4 versus 13 matchup in March Madness where it might end up being Delaware's 0-3, so probably not. But anyways, this is one of those matchups where you just rooted for the underdog as they kept going. I kept finding myself rooting for Delaware. I'm like, dude, keep this going, man. This is great. So you guys are shooting the ball. You guys are shooting the ball super well. Christian Bliss, he had 18 points. He lit it up in the first half. But you had nothing to lose if you were Delaware, and you had everything to lose if you were BYU. Nothing to gain if you were BYU. But yeah, overall, glad that they were able to take care of business. BYU is going to be tough to stop offensively with how many weapons that they have. But yeah, they had me worried for a little bit. But you're going to be talked about here later on in the show. Okay, Kentucky versus Louisville. I just want to touch on that real quick. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Mikael Brown Jr., I think he is the real deal. They're Louisville point guard. I think Pat Kelsey is phenomenal. The way he's been able to translate over from Charleston a couple years back, take over the just complete dumpster fire that Louisville used to be in hoops. They just have never been able to recover from Pitino. I remember them just being a complete laughingstock of the ACC a couple years back. I think they won 1 game 2 years ago in the ACC at least. They were horrible all the way around. And Pat Kelsey just brings that culture of, hey, we're going to out-hustle you, I'm going to out-muscle you, and I'm going to out-scheme you. That's his mentality. He has a great culture. He seems like an awesome guy. I would love to get to talk to him someday. But Mikael Brown Jr., he just absolutely lit it up. Let's see, where's he? 29 points, almost a 30-piece. In my opinion, I think they should just go ahead and rename the state of Kentucky Louisville. That would be awesome. The way that they were able to just derail the Wildcats. And Kentucky, I was disappointed because I was on Twitter and I just kept seeing all these Kentucky fans talking about how deep they were and, this could be one of the best teams to come through Kentucky in, quite some time. And you lose a game of this caliber this early in the season it's a little sweet. I'm like, hey, you get put back in the you get put in the little brother chair. I don't know. Louisville's going to be good for a long time. As long as they have Pat Kelsey there, they're going to be a contender in the ACC. I think they are the second best team in the ACC, but right behind Duke, of course. But Pat Kelsey's got a great thing going on. Mikael Brown Jr. is going to be a lottery pick. I love Louisville. I love everything about them. I think that they've got a complete team. They're going to be a team that's going to be forced to reckon with in March. So we're going to keep watching this Louisville team. They're going to be in the top 10 after this year or after this week. Actually, I think they already were number 9, I believe. But anyways, the Cardinals got some great stuff going. I'm excited for them. Now they're number 12. I'm sorry. Number 12, they will be in the top 10. They'll probably swap places with Kentucky. And I think they'll stay in the top 10 for the remainder of the year. Denzel Aberdeen was great for Kentucky, 26 piece. Otigo Owe, I don't know where you been. Where we at, brother? Colin Chandler, what are we doing? You gotta show up. You guys gotta show up in big games, man. I know everybody has off nights, but big time players don't have off nights in big time matchups. Just want to go out and say that. All right, last one real quick, and then we're gonna go into buy or sell. Then we're gonna go into matchups this weekend, and then we'll get into buy or sell. So we'll get rocking and rolling here. Keep it going. Creighton and Gonzaga. There's not much to talk about here. Creighton. I called this on the last pod. Go check it out. Gonzaga wiped the floor. Gonzaga 90, Creighton 63. Graham Ike with 20 and 10, really solid double. He was 8 of 10 from the field, and then Huff 14 points. He was magnificent too. The Twin Towers of Gonzaga were way too much for Owen Freeman and the Creighton Blue Jays. I figured that this was probably going to be a blowout. This wasn't surprising, but Mark Few's got it going in Spokane. They've got some Gonzaga's got some great matchups coming up. They've got Bama, Kentucky, and UCLA before the calendar year. So we're gonna keep an eye on Gonzaga and as we go throughout this, because I think those are gonna be some 3 really good tests. Because as we know, their conference is not great. They'll compete with St. Mary's, and that will be about it. So those 3 games are going to be very, very crucial going forward for Gonzaga, especially when it comes to tournament time. If they were to drop a couple games, hopefully they can look back on these and, you want Creighton to continue to do well, but Bama, Kentucky, UCLA they're going to be in the top 25 all year. So you just want to root for those guys if you're not able to get any wins. So. But I love Gonzaga. I love what Mark Few's got going on. We just need to continue to see great guard play out of them. Adam Miller, I don't know how he's still in college, but he's gonna have to really step it up and be solid for the Bulldogs. All right. I apologize. I totally missed Bama Purdue. Listened to this one on the radio last night again. Same thing with ESPN. Listen to this one on the radio, and I recommend. If you haven't listened to a basketball game on the radio, check out your local university, NBA, whatever. Even if it's football, check out the local radio. The commentators are phenomenal. All of them have been great. I remember we were driving down to Dallas, Texas, and me and my buddies were listening to the James Madison commentary broadcasters. Oh, just dynamite. You felt like you were at the game. You had just all the energy in the world coming through the mic into your. Nobody said a word the entire second half just listening to these guys. These guys were great. So I highly recommend tuning in. Varsity Sports Network, free app. You can listen to any game that you want. Yes, I'm a shooter for these dudes. They've done some great work putting together that app. Okay, Alabama, Purdue, real quick. Welcome back, Trey Kaufman-Renn. Purdue, this was a huge win, a nice, mature win for these guys. They showed up and showed out against the Crimson Tide, winning 87 to 80. Jeez, 87 to 80. Braden Smith played like player of the year, 29, 7, and 4, very solid. But the most impressive thing for me with Purdue, Alabama made 16 threes, and Purdue still found a way to win. That was my most impressive thing. Purdue had a ton of second chance opportunities. You had 19 offensive boards, 19 extra possessions, 19 extra shots, potential shots. I'm not saying they shot it on every possession. But when you have 19 offensive boards, you can win a lot of ball games doing that, especially on the road. If you can offensive rebound on the road, that is just a complete crowd suffocator. You can suck the energy out of the room. Because I hate giving up offensive boards. I was coaching my freshmen a few years back. if they offensive rebounds they just bother me because you can't get a flow, you can't get out in transition, you got to play more defense. But that was the make or break for me. Was yes, Alabama had 16 threes, but if you're able to combat that with 19 extra touches, extra possessions, you can make 23. If they made 23s, they would have won. But you can combat a lot with that many extra possessions. So, fun fact, I was curious. I'm like, man, they made 16 of them. When's the last time they did that? Last year they made 3. There was 3 games where they made 15 plus threes. Alabama, South Dakota State early in the year, Mississippi State later in the year, and then the Sweet 16 game against BYU where they scored like 1,000 points. All 3 of those games were W's, of course, and Purdue was able to shut it down. Purdue has no holes in their roster. If they're healthy, they're going to be they're going to be the best team in the country. They're my best team in the country. Oscar Clough was a great addition to them from a rebounding perspective. Fletcher Lawyer, when he gets hot, I mean he had 7 points. He had 1 of 4 from 3-point land. But when he gets going, as we saw against Evansville, he had the 30 piece or whatever. Purdue's going to be favored to win national championship. Purdue's the best team in the country. So, but Alabama, great. They had some good moments. Had some really good moments. And you make 16 threes, that's great. You just cannot give up 19 offensive rebounds. I know I've been harping on that a lot. But that's the main driver of the game. Aiden Holloway, 21 points. He did his thing. He was awesome. I was very disappointed in LeBaron Philon. Now, very disappointed from he just didn't shoot it well. He was still aggressive. He had 7 dimes. He still made an impact. 1 of 6 from 3-point land. He just didn't get to the foul line very much. 0 of 1 from the free throw line. He's my SEC Player of the Year. I still think he's going to be SEC Player of the Year. I love him. But when you're 0 of 1 from the free throw line, that's just saying you're settling for jumpers, settling for floaters. I know his first basket was a steal and dunk. But when you're not shooting the ball well, he was 5 of 14. You got to get to the free throw line. You got to see the ball go through the rim. It's the only thing I would have nitpicked from his game the other night. Or I guess it was last night. But other than that, I mean, he made an impact. He made an impact in other ways other than scoring. Just wish he could have been a little bit more aggressive getting to the basket. But Purdue 87, Alabama 80. Both teams are going to be fine. These are both Final Four caliber teams. Alabama's probably, I think they can get to a Final Four. Absolutely. Where I think they land, they probably lose in the Elite Eight, but it's still they're still a phenomenal team when they're shooting the ball well and their guards are playing. And when their guards are playing well, they're a tough out. And good guard play wins in March. So if they're able to do that, they're gonna be just fine. All right, real quick with the games from this weekend, we have Arizona versus UCLA, and then we have BYU versus UConn. Tune into those Friday and Saturday, so tonight and tomorrow. Two just elite matchups. All 4 teams are having great starts to the year. Donovan Dent, I'm extremely excited to watch him tonight in a Bruins uniform, go up against Cole Pete. And then DeBanza go back to the Northeast area where he's from to go up against UConn, who is probably, if it's not Purdue, UConn's probably the most complete team in the country. So excited to see those. Make sure you all tune in. Let me know your thoughts. But now, new segment, buy or sell. We're going to start that off. We're going to start doing something a little bit different. Buy or sell. I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts and my opinion on, am I buying stock on this team or am I jumping ship? So it's 3 teams that I wanted to cover with y'all. First team, Gonzaga. Talked about them earlier. I'm all in with Gonzaga. That's probably gonna end up hurting me when it comes tournament time, but I'm all in with Gonzaga. I think Mark Few is doing a great job. They're two big guys, Braden Huff and Graham Ike. I love them. I think vets, they're gonna do great. I think Mark Few's gonna get his guards playing to the caliber that they need to play. They have those 3 big matchups. You got Alabama, Kentucky, and UCLA coming up. So they got some great tests ahead of them. But I'm buying right now. I'm buying Gonzaga. I'm all in with them. Next team, BYU. I'm going to shuffle the letters around and say B-U-Y. I'm buying the Cougars, baby. I think Rob Wright is phenomenal. Again, flirted with a triple-double. I think Richie Saunders is great. He's a great shooter and a great scorer. I think A.J. DeBanza, this freshman class is just so loaded, but I think he's the best freshman in college hoops. I love Kennard Davis. I love BYU's depth. Provo is going to be a tough place to play when Big 12 teams come to town. Big 12 overall is going to be tough in general, but I love BYU. I'm buying stock in BYU right now, even though they didn't play great against Delaware. I think they just need to get enough stops. If they can get enough stops, they can beat anybody in the country, man. You get enough stops, their offense is so lethal that they'll be able to hang with people. They have a huge matchup coming up against UConn. I think that'll be a great test to see where they're actually at. I could be totally eating my words 48 hours from now, but I'm buying right now on BYU. Okay, last team, the Auburn Tigers. Okay, I haven't talked about them very much. I talked to them a little bit about my SEC breakdown a couple episodes back. Talked to them about Bethune-Cookman in episode 2, I believe. I'm selling Auburn. They're in the top 25 right now. When you switch coaches a month for the season, I think it's going to lead to a lot of problems, especially when they get to conference play. They have a matchup in Birmingham against Houston coming up. I think that's a complete blowout. I think Houston just destroys Auburn. And I don't know if we'll see Auburn back in the top 25. I love Tahad Pettiford. Dude, he's so explosive. He's so fun to watch. I don't know. I'm selling on Auburn. I don't think that they're as good as years past. I don't like the coaching change right before the season. Struggled early with Bethune-Cookman. They've taken care of business the last couple games, but it's expected. I don't believe in the Tigers. I don't believe in Stephen Pearl. I think they get blown out against Houston, and I think Tahad Pettiford, I think he ends up transferring. He's going to end up at a high major D1 school next year. I would love to see him at Duke. That would be great, but I'm biased, but I'm selling out on Auburn. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of From the Bench to the Mic. Make sure you give me a follow on Instagram, follow on Twitter, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, everybody have an awesome weekend. Some great matchups coming up. And all right, we'll see you next week.